All right, so with our handsome Mr. Bernie, ready, sir? I wanted to warm up a little bit with some novelty. So nice job, sir. So I just was plopping out some of these things. I wanted to try a little bit with Mr. Bernie and working a little bit with some novelty in the sense of some new agility equipment, but also working with his bed and sort of working the cot and trying some new things with the handsome guy. So obviously for the beautiful boy, we're just gonna do a couple little warm-ups as I'm blabbing in the beginning just to get him in the groove and cozy. So the benefits of trying novel things with your puppy through teenager, and of course with your adult dog too, can be very beneficial, is that for a lot of teenagers as they're hitting adolescence, again, 6 months to about 2 years, give or take, depending on the breed, is the benefit of maintaining some experiences that are, again, slow and comfortable for the puppy or teenager, can help them keep boosting that confidence and that resilience with other novel things down the road. So a lot of times we have this concept where puppies are doing stellar at a certain age group, 5 months and below, and then all of a sudden we try something new or have something new in the environment, and your puppy maybe gets a little bit overwhelmed and starts barking or feeling uncomfortable. Sometimes it can turn into like wild sort of explosions of excitement too, which can also be a sign of anxiety. So remember, with those fight and flight responses, there's also going to be fidget, fawn, and freeze. So for a lot of teenage dogs, novelty starts to equal, if I don't notice it, it could be dangerous and now I could get harmed. So it is going to be really important for your pup's comfort range, but also for their mental and well-being, both physical and mental, is to work through some of these novel things, be it in and around the home, the yard, novel environments. We do want to be careful that we are not flooding our puppy though with a situation. So if your babe is really overwhelmed by something and you're forcing them, like let's say crowds are scary or novel places are a little overwhelming, and you bring them to like Tractor Supply and just force them around in that space, they may not start to create good associations. So we think sometimes just getting them out and exposing them is enough to get them over it. But what you might be doing is reinforcing that every time we do go out, it is terrifying and nothing changes the way they feel at that moment. So we do need to work on building some comfort and confidence, but at their rate. So we're, again, helping them do some counter conditioning or some, again, novelty can equal comfortable at their rate. Otherwise, we're doing, again, what's called more flooding. So that's what we'd want to avoid. So he has never rocked, from my knowledge, a agility ladder. So that's this ladder that is actually flipped upside down for now. I like to start with it flipped because then the ladder rungs are on the ground. Oh, good job, sir. And your puppy then does not have to lift their feet up yet if they don't quite know how to do so. So a lot of benefits to getting your puppy to practice things that are new for them physically is that it creates more of an understanding of hind end and front end awareness. So for a lot of babes, if you've ever seen them sometimes playing or doing things, they don't always realize they have a front and a back end. And in doing so, they can sometimes either, slip or fall or hurt themselves. So the benefit of working some of these skills is with agility ladder, for example, your dog is going to have to think about lifting their hindquarters as well as the front end and keep that sort of in the same movement moment, so they start to kind of combine the two. So if, let's say, he's ever nervous about something, I'm not going to force him to do something, but I want to give him a little try to do some maybe find it in around the item. So if the puppy's body language changed heavily, so remember how when we first tried the raised cot, he was a bit unsure and his body language showed that he was a bit uncomfortable. So what that can look like is like a tucked tail. It can be slinky kind of body language. Notice how his hind end right now, he could, if he needed to, he could quickly slink backwards away from the distraction or the spooky thing. Nice. So in the beginning, we're just making it fun to move in and around the item by doing some feeding around the thing. Nice. And two, guys, no pressure. I know I've mentioned it in some of the other previous puppies videos. There is Sam's confidence building class, which is coming up on Thursday. It was going to be this Thursday, but it actually got pushed out a week to allow for a little bit more enrollment. That is a really nice program because we involve some of the agility equipment, sights and sounds and textures, and then we start to build in more dynamics in the sense of more difficult visuals or louder sounds, but all within each student's, criteria for comfort range. So like if, let's say, Mr. B managed to get himself into the agility ladder, I may try and lure him a few steps and feed him for his attempts. Nice. So I want to feed for every few little moments because I want to create a lot of value in trying this weird new thing. Yes, nice job. If, though, in the beginning, you're finding it's harder for him to focus on your hand and then be lured through it, and then sort of he might trip up on the poles of the ladder, you may find it's easier to, for example, feed him at the end or take a pause and feed a little bit throughout, but not while he's in motion, because sometimes if he's in motion, he might be interested in what's going on in the snack hand and then forget where he's going, and because he's busy here, he may trip. So I do want him to get comfortable just trying a few different items. So right here with like the lovely, dog bed, he's gotten much more comfortable with the cot climbing on. Nice job. Beautiful. So we might go into a little sit, so you can get a little check-in. That was really pretty. Good job, Mr. B. So we are going to rotate through some of these different items. If he's never done a pause up or a step up, like on that upside down rubber bowl, we're going to give that a try. Again, the benefit to working a bit with a step up or pause up is getting your puppy comfortable putting their feet or their body onto something novel, but it could also transfer to getting in the car or going on the scale at the vet's office, or even just trying to go on something new. Like maybe there is a small little plank of wood that you have to go from one side of the stream to the other, and if your babe doesn't quite know where their body is, this could be, again, some helpful practice moments for him as well. Nice. So right now we're just building up value and going to our target spot. I didn't, again, apply the stay. Just wanted to see how he's feeling. He's doing a real nice job. He's a very dapper gentleman. I see he got groomed. He looks beautiful. And they did a very nice job. Nice. So maybe we'll go ahead. We'll see if we can get him up and off the bed. We'll try again a little bit with the ladder. So I might go ladder. Yes, that was very pretty. Smart boy. So I might try again. Ready? Ladder. Yes. What a smart man. He's doing beautiful. Ready? Ladder. That's all right. If we get a little bit of a drunken sailor moment where he gets off course, don't worry. Yes. The main goal is that we're just, again, feeding and reinforcing even the beginning stages of something, because if he's never done it, he can't do it perfectly every time from square one. For this little jump, I have it set real low. I just want to see if he can pretty much walk over it for starters. Nice. He's like, what the heck is this weird creature? Ready, Bernie? So we might do another little find it. So right now we're not really doing agility equipment in the sense of like pristine working towards agility. We're more so just for novelty experiences and building comfort, trying and seeing new things. Nice job, Bernie. Yes, great little name recognition. So for the bowl that was in front of the ladder, if Mr. B has never rocked a pause up or step up, don't worry. This is something we can start to hone in on. If he feels it's a bit weird, we're not going to push for it. But then we can build up to it by using a flat target. And if he has a hard time with the raised target, a lower or flat target can make things much easier for starters. So just like with us, like if we didn't quite know how to do something, starting at the bare bones sort of beginning stage is a great way to first start something new for us too. So you might go, ready, Bernie? He's like, oh my gosh, he says, I think I see something. So if, for example, he did a little partial, no big deal. We're going to take a little breather from this, but I want to see if I can try a little bit with the bowl, working a bit with our pause up or step up. Ready, Bernie? So if, let's say, for example, he has never rocked the bowl, anytime his little body goes anywhere near the bowl, I'm going to feed him for that. I might even feed him on top of the bowl itself. So if your babe was not terrified or showing signs that he was really nervous about something, I wouldn't, again, make him choose between food and survival. So what I mean by that is if your babe was really scared of something and you're luring them towards the thing, had there been no food, he probably would have never gotten that close. So we don't want to go so close to something that he thinks that he could maybe win the food, but at the same time it's creating a lot of conflict. That can also sometimes ruin your food as a nice reinforcement because it was instantly paired with something really spooky. So again, we're going to plop a couple food items on the bowl. I know Mr. S says, what the heck? And he's with his buddies, but he says, woe is me. We can only wrestle when we're out and about. So if, let's say, my puppy is a little bit stagnant, so a little bit, maybe set up a little bit awkward, I like to go ahead and set them up next to me, use my body as a little bit, of a little side wall, and then see if I can get the puppy. He's using it on my foot right now. So I sometimes do a lot of sort of side back and forth, and then see if I can all of a sudden get him to place his little foot on the bowl. We did have a little moment where he did place it on, but he was a little bit unsure. Mr. B is, of course, saying, why can't we just play instead? So if you're finding that he is not quite sure about something, don't force it. So like right now, I'm just trying to start up the first stages. I may in like the next video bring out the flat target, and we could try working a little bit with the flat target and then start to pair it with this one to build up that skill. So I'm going to try maybe one more time with Mr. Handsome. Oh my goodness, they're all singing. So we're going to try, and I'm going to line him up a little bit more with the bowl. If he likes to do it with me right here, and he can take a few little steps, yes. So right there, there's a few, we dropped our crumbs, that was my bad. So let's say, for example, he did one little toe. I would still count that as the beginning stages of doing that paws up. And right now I am luring him. Later, we would simply go again, paws up or step up, and then feed for when those feet do hit the target. So I'm going to see if I can get him up and wiggling so we have a little bit more space. Nice. I'm going to try once more. Of course, his little back end was facing you. So very close. He's like, what if we do loop-de-loops around it? Right here, so close. So we're waiting for that little foot to potentially hit the bowl, I mean. So right here, so close. He's like, watch, I can do some really nice dance moves. Right there, yes, smart boy. So even if it's 1 foot, I still count it. And we're going to go ahead and feed. Oh, smart man. See, now we got all the toesies in the front up here. So this doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does start to help your puppy target other things or build up their confidence in trying something new. It also helps them with like figuring out their body and where it might be in relation to spatial items or the environment. So again, we might try once more. He's like, this is so much harder than he was hoping. So close. It's a wiggly worm. So here, we'll line him back up. Yes. So not too shabby, a little crooked, but still very pretty. Good job. So I'll give him a little breather from the bowl. But you can see that after a little bit, it wasn't too hard to get onto that item. I'm going to do a little bit of another little find it over the little jump. Ready? Oh, Sterling says, worst day ever. Why aren't we all wrestling together? And again, they are in the same little zone together where they take like their little rests between wrestles and practice. But he says, I'd rather just be out on the main floor with the crazy snack lady. So we're going to try again. Now the ladder is up and it's in its original position. So it is raised off the floor. So we might try again. So ladder. Yes. And I'm going to feed him for all of that so far. So don't worry if he's a little bit drunken sailor, slipping out of there. Don't worry. So we'll go ahead. We'll try again. Ready? We'll get Mr. B's attention. Ready? Ladder. Mr. Sterling says, what the heck? When's it my turn? Oh, so nice. Good job, Mr. B. So if he makes his way a little bit out, don't worry. He's like, ew, it's touching my leg like seaweed. Nice job. So even if in the beginning it's not the most beautiful thing you've ever done, remember that the beginning stages of something may not be for perfection, but more like you're looking for progression. So again, we might go back into our little bed. Ready? Bed. He's like, almost. And then we'll try a little bit with our stays again. Ready? So we'll get a little sit. Yes. We're going to tell him to stay. I'm going to feed him a little bit of this for doing some very nice sits. It's like the bed smells very delicious. Somebody else has been on it. Oh, if he wants to relax into a down position, I'm going to go ahead and capture that little moment and then feed for some of these lovely down moments too. Sterling is, he's a very nice singer. And the other two are with him too, so he's not all by his lonesome. So he says being without the snacks might be part of the sad part. There we go. So we'll feed Mr. B again a few little reps. So I'm going to see if I can go ahead. I'm going to tell him to stay. I'm going to see if I can add a little bit of wiggle, not tons. I don't want to make it too challenging because again, we do have the distractions of the other classmates and the environment itself. So again, I'm just feeding the bed itself versus him directly sometimes to make it seem like the good stuff happens on the cot versus from me. There was a snack we missed, so we might get him back onto his bed. Ready? Bernie. He's like this blanket, or the bed smells delicious. Ready? So if we think a down is going to work better, we're going to go into a down. He's like, my brain melted. There we go, yes. And we're going to tell him to stay. We're going to work a little bit with a down stay again for just a moment. Nice. He's doing a very good job. I know, the cots do smell nice because lots of other friends have been on them. Nice job. Gorgeous. So, but Mr. B is doing a really nice job with all this novelty. But if you are thinking about potentially trying a little bit more with it, I'm not saying you have to, but Sam's class is supposed to be starting next Thursday at 6. And that could be a potential for another great venue for some nice exposure for the handsome guy before he leaves adolescence as well at around 2. Oh my goodness, and I'm gonna have to go save Sterling. Maybe he needs a potty break, which is acceptable. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed Mr. B his last little rep for his lovely place behavior working these stays. And then we're gonna go ahead and say, we're all done. Nice job, all done. And then we can get up and wiggle. And of course, Mr. B's like, no, I think I'd like to stay this time. So we'll get him up. He's like, maybe. Now you're getting cozy. So we'll get him and we'll start wiggling. Ready? Let's go. What a smart man. So for leaving again that stay, he doesn't get a snack for it. I want him to think again the value is being in that position. But maybe what we'll do is we'll do a teeny bit with this little jump and then we'll give him a little breather. Ready? Find it. Nice. What a brilliant boy. Good job. Such a smart man. So we'll give Mr. B a little breather. I'll do another little find it for him, and then we'll call it a day for some of these skills, and we'll work a few more behaviors that we'd like to practice with the handsome guy. But very nice job with the distractions of the novelty.